Hello, my name is Ali Major. Welcome to tonight's show. Seven Sun Entertainment is an entertainment company dedicated to providing the services needed to take your project to the next level with a certified professional ready to unleash creativity and knowledge. Seven Sun Entertainment is a trending digital media company advancing to compete in today's market. Contact Seven Sun Entertainment for all your video and audio projects. Give your dreams to the world. SevenSunEntertainment.com. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and enjoy tonight's show. Have a nice evening.
Can't hear it. Two.
Committing crimes, but also becoming victims.
As lawmakers address juvenile crime in Annapolis, the effects of it felt on the streets of Baltimore.
And a group of teenage boys jumped out and attacked them.
In the Bolton Hill neighborhood, a 77-year-old man beaten during an attempted carjacking.
After they had been beaten, one of the boys demanded their car keys.
Perpetrated by a group of juveniles, the youngest.
A face of a 12-year-old.
Do you think if they would have just said, hey, give me your keys, that your husband would have complied and gave the keys?
Probably. But they ambushed them and, they kind of came out of the blue on them.
In East Baltimore, a similar ambush.
The aunt was robbed at gunpoint by 3 male juveniles. She's 78 years of age.
This woman describing the horrifying moments.
One came to the front and had here a gun. I'm going to die because a gun in my head.
But it's not just juveniles committing crimes, but also becoming victims. The sounds of gunshots captured on video captures the city's first homicide, 16-year-old Noah Gibson.
I love my son with all my heart. That was my baby.
Gibson, just one of several juveniles shot in Baltimore so far this year, including the 17-year-old shot in the face in the Bel Air neighborhood.
Units were following a blood trail. We lost the blood trail in the 3600 block of Clifton Park Terrace.
As the trail of juvenile crime is left behind,
there has to be consequences.
Those affected by it hope new legislation will pass and make a difference on the streets.
Right now, there's no deterrent, and there's nothing to prevent this from happening to anyone else at any time.
Now, there is a $30,000 reward for the assault on that 77-year-old man. Meanwhile, all of those cases remain unsolved. We're live tonight. Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Blessings.
Beautiful faces I see. And I see a guest. We have a beautiful guest on here. Her name is Kiazi. How you doing today?
Good.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the title to Queen. And I'm going to let you talk a little bit, Queen.
Hi, Kiara. So we just saw the video regarding the violence that's going on in Baltimore and in Annapolis. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on in your school that you see that's happening amongst your peers and yourself?
Yeah, I've noticed that like with situations and issues, teachers don't really go with the problem or the situation as they should. So it leads up to like a bigger problem, and the problems lead to bullying or like violence.
So is the teacher helping you guys or the teacher hurting more than anything?
Some help and some don't.
Do it happen on a regular basis, all day long, every day, each day you go to school?
It's like an every other day type of thing.
Okay. So have you ever been in any other situation where you're being bullied or being attacked by anybody or even you fighting anybody? How about that?
There is a recent situation where there was online bullying,
Mm-hmm.
and the girl was new. She was from a different school, and she just came to our school. And the first day, she tried to fight somebody. So everybody already saw what type of person she claimed to be. And people went on bullying her about it. And it was like a whole little group chat. And
Mm-hmm.
most of the people in the group chat were making up rumors, which led to her and I almost fighting.
And how did
But
you feel about that?
um, I didn't really feel any type of way about it. I just thought it was kind of stupid at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, as I heard her talking crap and messed up things about me and my friends, that's when I kind of like got into the fighting part.
So you actually got into the fight, or you tried
No,
to avoid it?
well, I was going to fight her because she was like saying a lot of stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to just let her think that she could just talk crap on people and not get away with it and think that it's just like an everyday thing that she can do. But my mom found out and she didn't want me to go do it because she didn't want me to get in trouble and ruin my future.
Correct. So do you think you could have handled it a little bit different
Yeah,
if the other
probably if
people?
I would like thought of better ways to respond to some of her hate.
Right. Because the thing is, as you get older, you'll see people are gonna say what they want to say, no matter what. You have to stand on what you know is true and what is right. And if you know, like I tell my granddaughter, people are gonna talk. You don't have any control over that. So you can't just go by what everybody say or what they do. You can't feed into it because your education is more important than you just trying to follow what behind anybody else. You understand?
Yeah.
So mommy was right. Your future is more important. You have to know um, that you can't just and people are cruel in the bottom line when it all boils down. Children are gonna be children, but you can't control the next person. The only person that you can control is you. So
You're right. That's right. The only person you can control is your efforts and your actions, and everything is depending on your efforts and your actions. Kiaja, you have to you're in a very vulnerable position because life has made you not only have to want to stand up for yourself, but also have to put yourself in the right position for future. And see, you're a kid, and I understand that's hard to decipher. Like, when to stand up for yourself and when to focus more on your future than what is going on right this second. We have to decide that, and even as adults, we do. We have to decide this every single day. So I know it's like 10 times harder for a kid than it is for an adult because you guys are actually trying to figure out who and where you guys are at in this society, period. And we still are, yeah, but we kind of been shaking this boat for a long time, so we kind of understand what's going on. But for the youth, it has to be hard. And how hard? Do you understand what I'm saying? First, Kiasha.
Yeah.
So, do you see it as being hard? Do you actually know that the decisions you're making now will cater to your future?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. It's good to know that because knowing is half the battle. I believe in GI Joe, uh, but but yet and still, Jinx, um, I would love for you to give your daughter some advice that you had for yourself when you were her age.
Ooh, if I could speak to my 13-year-old self, on top of, the everyday stuff I tell you and teach you and try to instill in you, it would really be to be selfish. Be selfish with your time, with your energy, with your money, with your talents. Right now, be selfish. Don't just give everything you got away for momentary things. Worry about the long term, the you that you're gonna become. Because when I was your age, I was so busy being everything to everybody. Oh, I gotta be the class clown at school. Oh, I gotta be the bully in the yard. Oh, I gotta be the big sister, the little sister, the no. I just worry about what you thinking and feeling to the point where you can learn how to decipher what it's all about.
That's beautiful. I like how you put that. Carlos, brother, I love to see your face, brother. I ain't get to see you. I ain't seen you in a week. We talked on the phone, but I ain't seen you in a week. All right, so what I would like you to do for Kiaje, for me, and for all of us sitting here on the panel is for you to talk to your 13-year-old self and give yourself advice about about life today.
Be emotionally intelligent. Don't allow your emotions to make a decision now that will last you for your entire life. Kind of like the situation that you just had, dealing with the fight or wanting to fight. That was an emotion. Somebody was talking about you. You got emotionally attached, and you always got to look past emotion. If you can get past emotion, you see the logic. Which the logical part would be, if I get into a fight, it's gonna ruin my future self. It's gonna ruin what I got going on. And you always got to think logical. And I understand emotions or the things that your peers may have going on that make you wanna do some things, but you can't think the way they think because you got a future. They do too, but if you always think future in present moment, you'll think a lot you'll get a lot further.
Facts.
Another nice quote. Another one. Queen, you did a wonderful job bringing in the show with Kiaje. So I'm going to skip you and I'm going to think about my 13-year-old self and the advice that I would give my 13-year-old self. Um, I would absolutely tell myself to be more vigilant, to be more aware of my surroundings, and that everybody who claims to be your friend is not your friend. I would absolutely look at myself and tell myself to think bigger. You know, I used to think really small. Like my small means, okay, I'm gonna go get this pack and I'm gonna flip this pack just to get a bigger pack, and that's all it was. There was no vision other than trying to get more drugs for money. And I'm sorry I got to say this with Kiaja on the line, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be 100% honest because I believe kids should um, be told the truth. You know what I mean? And as long as you keep the vulgarity out of it, I believe it can be understood in a nice way. So I seen one pattern. I didn't want to go to a job and have the job and work the job and then upgrade and then get a raise and things. I didn't want to go through all of that. I wanted the quick route, and I would have told myself to slow down. The fast route is not always the best route, and the fast route will get you somewhere you might not want to go. So the slow route, actually, I learned this from doing calisthenics when I was in jail. Calisthenics stay on you. You know, a lot of people they like lifting weights. Lifting weights only, you know, blow you up real fast. Yeah, you blow up fast and you look kind of solid. Yeah, but somebody who's doing calisthenics for 5, 6, 7 years and all that definition, it stays with them. So after they stop working out, 4 or 5 years after they're done working out, it's still there. If you stop working out with weights, it'll be gone within 9, 10 months. And that's what I mean to actually put in the work to get where you want to go. I would have told myself that to slow down and actually put in the work for what you want. because I'm ending up doing it now. It never changed. I had to put the work in. You see what I'm saying? So no matter if I try to do it fast and cheat the system, it took that from me fast. It didn't even care. As fast as I made it, they took it faster. So I had to learn the hard way, Kiaja. And I wanted you to hear us talk to our 13-year-old selves so that you might understand that life has consequences and the choices that you make at your age reflect on how you're going to be when you're older. Um, does anybody disagree with my statement or my statements?
No,
Okay, all
not at
right.
all.
Queen, I would like to
Mm-hmm.
ask. I would like to ask you now. Do you remember when you were? Do you remember when you were in school?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember some of the pressures? You remember some of the pressures that were aimed towards you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Now, can you explain to Kiaje how it made you feel?
Well, it depends on which way you know. I had it
I want you
several
to pick.
ways.
I want you to pick one of those 7 ways and explain to her how that made you feel. And remember how she explained
I was
her
under
situation.
pressure.
There you
It
go.
made me feel like I was under pressure because I had to be a certain person. I had to be a certain way. I had to be up to standards here, but I couldn't be me because I had siblings that came before me and I was the last. Um, so when I came to school, it was more so you know, they looked, the teachers, it was basically teachers with me. Um, so I had to come to school and walk a fine line, or else it was like, you the last, you the Dorsey sister, you this, you that. So it wasn't pretty, and I didn't like it at all, and it made me rebel behind it because I wanted to do. Nobody saw me for me; they saw me for what my siblings did, and that wasn't fair to me. So I already had a target on my back by the time I got to school, and it put me in a foul place, which I didn't like. And if, as I look back, I wish I had went about it a different way. To be honest with you, I really did. It caused a lot of problems in my life. So if you see yourself going down that path, just talk to your mom what you have and let her know what's going on so y'all can handle it in a different manner. So your future can be bright because at the end of the day, that's what's more important is you getting your education and doing way better than and succeeding and excelling in life.
Very good.
Amen.
At this time, Kiaje, I would like to throw your mom under the gun, and
Ugh,
I'm going to ask your mom if she remembers her high school experience.
I do. And it was nothing to be glorified in any way, shape, or form. I made a lot of bad choices. I threw away a full ride to a really good college. I thought I knew everything and I was ultra independent and I made a lot of bad choices along the way. And if I could go back, whoo, I'll be playing in the WNBA right now. Come on. You already know. But I'm I'm more so worried about what's going on with these teens today. Like seeing clips like that we started out with, it's heart wrenching because yeah, things went on when we were teens, but I don't know if it's just more readily available, the bad news, or if it's really increasing around the world. But Kiaje, how do you feel about stuff like this when you see these kids just going on crime sprees and being violent towards old people? How do you feel about that?
I feel like it's not the best way to go about it.
Do you feel that there's anything that adults can do to try and help kids to not get to that place or not make those kinds of choices?
I feel like, actually, I don't know how to word it, but it's like pay attention to your kids a lot more. Like, try to protect them and don't overprotect them because that's annoying, but protect them. Try to, like, teach them through the rights or the wrongs and to tell them to not do the wrongs because the wrongs will ruin their future.
Okay. I have a question if Kiaje doesn't mind. Um, I heard what you just said, but do kids start feeling some kind of way when their parents start telling them what not to do and what to do?
Not really.
No? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I know a diversity of kids, and a lot of times they when they're barked at too much or they're told things, I know that they they under their breath. But I've heard it, I've seen it, and I laugh every time. But yet and still, I get it. I get being a kid. I remember being a kid, and I'm gonna give you my reference to my high school or school because I didn't. I had a weird one. I didn't go to high school. I dropped out in eighth grade, to be honest. um, but I'll give you my middle school experience that I remembered. And yes, I did say I dropped out before high school. I think eighth grade was my final grade of graduating, I think. Um, uh, but then still, my school experience was kind of bad. I dealt with home life, and as I said, I was a troubled kid. And then I went to school, and then I had all kinds of problem at school because I didn't have the sneakers or things in that nature that other kids had. So they tried to make fun, and I was a very aggressive kid and got mad real fast. So so I caught myself into a lot of trouble that way, and I wish that I wish I would have caught humility a little earlier in life. I didn't know how to accept humility at a young age, and I was willing to do a lot of things so that I was not humiliated. Um, and that was a problem, and I see that today because that not only has implications on my life today, Kiaje, but from me not doing and experiencing humility through school and rebelling and fighting every single day, it put a hindrance on where I'm at now. And I have a problem even today with sleeping at night, with with dealing with a bunch of people in a room around me. I really Kiaze, I'm gonna tell you there was a point of time when I would literally put my back to the wall and have to look at everything going around me just to feel comfortable inside a room with more than 10 people in it. So all of these implications stem from my experiences from when I was younger. All right, and these are the things I'm trying to help um, uh, enlighten and bring up inside your mind. Like if you think about us, and we're giving you stories of our past. If you think about us, and then you relate that to yourself, where you are now, then you'll see that you know all four of us that you see here live different lives. We're all different people, but we all have the same story that we're telling you that we wish we would have thought a little better, a little different, and done things a little different, and our lives would be different today. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to relate to you. Um, uh, Jinx, at this time, I would like to say that we are 30 minutes into the show. And I know that Kiaje probably has school tomorrow.
Yes,
So
sir.
we are probably going to let her go. I don't know. I'm going to let mommy decide.
Yeah, I think she's had some things to say and
Oh,
some
do you have
things
any?
of
Does she have any more to say? Let me hear. Does she have any more?
Not really.
Okay. Well, if you do, please let me know. If not, then as I said, mommy, you can continue.
if you got something to say that you want to add, then please go ahead. But if not, teeth and prayers.
Okay. I'm gonna leave because I don't have anything to say.
All right,
Well,
Keandra,
let's
you have a
use the
wonderful
manners and say
night.
goodbye to everybody.
Uh-oh.
He's like, I'm out.
Okay. At this moment in time, we're gonna take a commercial break. I would like to say, yeah, let's do this.
Ali Major here with a new product from Get Your Life Right Industries. Spotter Pro today. With modern design, this device can detect the trollop of your dreams. Your balls will be wet in no time. Get your Spotter Pro today. That's right, your Spotter Pro is on. For $59.99, 3 payments, you'll get Spotter Pro. And you can spot the whore of your dreams.
Y'all know I'm a fool. Y'all know I'm a clown, man. I like to clown around. I like to joke a little bit. I like to clean things up. We're going through a serious topic, and I would like to lighten the mood. I like to laugh. You know, I like to laugh. I don't want to be serious 24/7. You know what I'm saying? So I like to throw little jokes and little slides in there. Okay, if you guys look, you'll see that I pulled up a screen that says youth and violence. Youth and violence kills and injures. Homicide is the leading cause of death for young people ages 10 to 24. Each day, approximately 12 young people are victims of homicide, and almost 1,400 are treated in emergency departments for non-fatal assaults related injuries. Youth violence is costly. Okay, saying that, let's get into these topics. Um, the ages 10 to 24.
That's
You guys see these facts, and I actually pulled up where they came from. The federal data of youth.gov. That's where that comes from, and these factors are horrible. From 10 to 24, children are living 10 years of life. That's
that's
crazy.
crazy.
But what do you guys feel about these issues?
I can't even put it in words. Like when I first read that, 10 to 24, like it's the leading cause of death for that age range. Like that's insane.
It is. It is, and there's plenty
I
of
mean,
yeah,
the fact that violence is the leading cause of death in any age bracket is crazy to me. But that age bracket especially because that's part of your prime years. Like that's the beginning of your prime years. I
absolutely.
can't even.
Imagine having to run outside and shoot guns or get shot around 10 to. Well, I understand. I
Yeah,
can, but
yeah,
the fact of the matter is, it's dangerous and it's messed up for a kid to have to go through that type of lifestyle at that age. They should have a chance to prosper and growth and get over the age of 24 and have a chance at life and experiencing the joys of life. That shouldn't even be a question inside society.
yeah.
All right. I also brought up ways off the prevent. This comes off the prevention. The CDC gave a 4 ways to reduce youth violence. All right. Do you guys disagree with any of these statements? And they're all posted together. Provide quality education early in life. I agree with that 100%. They got that right on the
Absolutely.
head. Strengthen your skills. Youth skills, excuse me, strengthen youth skills, which we should. We should teach them about economics. We should teach them a skill of craft. I think a skill should come mandatory for every child in school. They should have a skill that they learn, that they teach them throughout their education, that they can carry on through life. You know, there's
Yeah.
skills that we need in society today that we could be teaching them from a youth age. You know, so these are the problems that I see that we're not doing. You know, connect with youth to caring adults and activities which we spoke about last week. You know, we're missing boys and girls clubs or big brothers and big sisters. You know, we're missing a bunch of those because people are not funding those acts. People are funding other things. You know, they're more worried about going to Mars. You know, these are the things we're worried about. Preschool enrichment with family engagement. Okay, yes, I definitely think that parents should be involved in a kid and their schooling from the start, which I thought they were. I thought that was what parents did.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
It's not the norm. You'd be amazed. Like I'll call teachers or I'll email teachers. Certain things happen with the kids, and they're like, these teachers are legit like thanking me for returning their calls, and they'll be like, "Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for being involved." Like, and I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "You don't understand how many people really not involved no more. It's crazy."
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's always been the case. Even when
Mm-hmm.
my kids is going, it's always been the
Mm.
case. Nothing has changed. It's gotten worse. But when my kids was in school, it was the same way.
Okay.
Nobody was doing anything. You just let your children go to school as long as the children was out their face.
Wow.
That was it.
Okay.
That was it. The school is the babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
The daycare was the babysitter. I
That's what
was
they
the
use them
babysitter.
for. That's
I
what they
had the
use them for.
kids for 8 hours, and oh, Miss Debbie, you got the kids longer than me. You the mother after I'm not with them. So what are you teaching them when they're home? Because as I was taught, it starts at home and spreads abroad. So if you're not teaching them at home, because they are the first person they see when they get up in the morning is you. So if you ain't teaching them right from wrong, manners and respect, and how to treat people and how people should treat you, what you think they're gonna do when they go out in the streets? They're gonna get it the wrong way.
Well, if that's the case, then what is actually being said? We it's giving me the impression that what you're saying is that people are just having babies just to have babies and not
And
experiencing
they
the
are,
joy. Okay,
and they are,
yeah, but
and they are.
why?
Some of them are because they get a welfare check to sit on their ass and
That's
collect.
not enough money
That's
though.
why.
That's not
Well,
enough money though.
this is what I know, but
Okay,
that's not what a lot of people know and understand.
okay,
This is a system and this is a cycle. So this is what they're falling behind. The trap. They was told I can sit home and collect a certain amount of money for this amount of kids, and that's what they're doing. They will have a baby turn 1, 2, you pushing out another one.
I seen
You
that
go for your
before.
6 weeks checkup, you're having another one.
I got a friend like
You're
that.
having another one. I know somebody. She 27, and she had already had 7 kids. Come on now. At the end of the day, so what time are you going to be able to give to those 7 babies? Tell me that. What you going to teach them? The oldest one
They
going
don't
to be
have enough
raising
time for it. Yeah,
you
they
don't.
don't. They don't. There's too
And then
many
half the
kids.
time you young, you just as young as the children are having children. So it's baby having baby. You're learning to grow up with your child and you're raising your child. So you're not what?
That's a shame. That's a
So
shame.
the kids are being lost because of the fact there's no guidance.
Okay. I understand there's no guidance. Carlos, we spoke the other day about the basketball courts not having the older people that used to be on the basketball courts. You know what I'm saying? You know how older people used to be on the basketball courts when you went to the courts? It used to be old heads out there playing ball. It's no longer that. It's no longer like that. You know what I mean, and that's the problem with the basketball courts. That's what's going on with the youth at the ball courts. They got nobody to kill the altercation before it erupts.
The old heads are either in jail or deceased.
That's yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. But
So how you
we were forced to live that life. I'm gonna speak on what it really was. If you was from the hood, if you connected with the hood, drove to the hood, whatever the hell you did, if you included that inside your cipher, it kind of pushed you to live a certain type of life. And if you did not have an escape from that life and did not live in the suburbs, you learned from that life, and you had to live a type of structure to keep yourself from safe. That's my experience. I don't know what you guys experienced, but my experience was it's either you get down or lay down. So that's my experience with the streets. You know what I mean? You either gonna do one or the other. Um,
I mean, I was in the streets, but the choice was mine to be in the streets. I didn't have to be in the streets.
True.
That's the way that I
Nobody
wanted
has
to
to
go.
be. Nobody
That's the
has to
that's the
has to.
that's the path that I chose to go down. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, that's where I wanted to be. I mean, that's not how I was raised. It's
It was
just
the
where I wanted to go.
easiest. It was the easiest access to what you probably wanted. I know with me, it was the easiest, quickest access to what I was looking for. So that's why it kind of grew on me
Well,
and
I was
fell
looking for
deeper.
love in all the wrong places.
You see,
So I
I
mean,
wasn't.
I don't. I mean, it's two different things. I mean,
Gotcha.
how what you was doing was what you was
Yeah.
doing, and what I was doing
Yeah,
is
I
what I was
understand.
doing.
I understand.
So
But we can
I didn't
correlate
have
because
to
they
be there.
kind of they kind of coexist in the same. They kind of coexist in the same. There's no real difference in. I came to the understanding of this. People, no matter what you like or what you are, you indulge in things that you like. And let's just take the term of shopping whore. You know, there's eating whores. You know, I think of it in that way. You know, there's it doesn't matter who you are. You know, there's money whores, people who love money beyond, people who love to eat food, or people. There's all these type of people, and I believe that it's all coexist in the same bag. It's no different. You're no different than my experience, but your experience was separate, all in the same. It was in its own. It was in its own loop. I don't know if you can
It
understand what
was
I'm just saying.
different. I had babies. You ain't have none. The
Yeah,
hell?
with the
It
exception of
was
the male
different.
and
I
female
mean,
thing, I
what you
get
mean?
it.
I went through a
Your
beast. You
hustle
ain't
was
go through
different
all of
from
that.
my
So don't.
hustle.
It was totally different.
Your
You
hustle
can't
is
compare my situation with your situation.
okay.
You can't.
I think everybody goes off the same stems
You
of
can't.
life,
You
man.
cannot.
I
You
don't I
cannot.
don't think
My experience in life was totally different than yours.
okay, true.
I
We
sympathize
disagree.
with yours.
We
I sure
disagree.
do.
We disagree.
But you ain't gonna put me
But
in the same
it is
category with you.
what you was hustling all the same. Your hustle was the same thing as my hustle. You was hustling niggas. So what you mean?
You don't know what I
Same
was
thing.
hustling. You
It's
don't know what I was hustling,
all
so
right.
don't even do that.
Well,
Don't do
hey,
that.
to each his
Don't do
own.
that.
To each his
Yeah,
own.
don't do that.
Anyways, the youth is going through problems, and this is why people are so combative. This is why. This is the problem. People can't even have a conversation without being combative, and these are the problems that we have
But
inside
no, the
society.
problem is you're not gonna put words, or you're not gonna
I'm not
compare.
putting
You're
no
not gonna
words
say
in
this is
nobody's
the
mouth.
way how what.
I'm not doing that.
Okay, we gonna end that. Don't worry about it.
We gonna end that. I don't know what
We
you're
gonna end
speaking
it.
about, but see, this is the problem with society. This is the problem right here. People can't even have a legitimate grown up conversation. They always catch feelings. They always get mad. They always do something, and then it's like, yo, what is that? That's weird. But okay. Anyways, Jinx, what do you think
Yeah,
about? What do you think about these topics?
I mean, I think yes, it absolutely all begins with education, but it all begins at home as well. And like Carlos was saying last week, like you gotta get in that ass when they young in
That's
order to
right.
really get them started on that right path. And you gotta stay on them throughout those years when they're more likely to rebel and stray. That healthy fear that existed when we grew up ain't there no more. They ain't got the fear of God. They ain't got the fear of they neighbor snitching them out. They ain't got the fear of a real ass whooping. Like it's different. It's totally different. And I think education is definitely a big part of it.
That's right. Absolutely. I think that's where people fall off and communication falls off. Is because the education levels are so twisted. People don't know how to handle those conversations and don't know how to speak when those conversations are given, and that's a problem in society that we need to fix. Carlos, can I get your information?
It's a lot.
Okay.
So everything starts at home. Then it goes to school. Uh, but you first get educated at home.
Mm.
And the thing about a lot of the youth that you're seeing now, they're not getting, when I say education, I mean educated in everything from emotional intelligence to education just dealing with regular school stuff. Parents are either too busy working, so when they get home, they really ain't got time to sit there with their kids. They got the time, but you have to take the time, even if it's 5 minutes, to sit with your kid and say, look, how's your day? What are you doing? What's going on? You got to sit and make time with the youth. And the only thing that is being done to these kids is phones are being put in their face at early ages. So the TV or the phone is raising your child. not you raising your child. Then we push them to the video game because that's what's next after they grow up. I want a video game, so you allow them to sit there with this game and no real interaction for a while. And the parents are not just sitting there with their kids getting interactive with their kid. And that causes a lot of friction with children because they're not getting the love and the nurturing that they should get. So what they do, they also find it in friends. And friends, as you already know, you could be nurturing even your child, but if your child get around the right people or the wrong kid, what'll happen? They'll take on qualities of the other youth. They'll start look in your presence. They may do one thing out your presence. They're doing another. When if you ask me, parents should be building. Matter of fact, the other day I heard who was it? I think it was a pastor. He broke down relationship. What's the root word of relationship?
Relate.
You should have something that you relate with in the person that you are dealing with. And when I heard this, it was like, yo, wow, I never really even thought about the relate part. That we supposed to have some type of common ground when we deal with one another. I'm supposed to see myself or something that relates to me when I start dealing with people. And it was like mind blowing. It was like an epiphany went off. And the same thing that happens with the youth, they start to relating to one another. You're missing something and I'm missing something. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna give it to one another. And what they start doing is start bonding and sharing the love for one another, but it's misguided most of the times because this person ain't getting what they're getting supposed to be getting from either their one parent or their two parent household. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start doing mischief and whatnot with one another, opposed to the parents being like, look, I see something going on here, and I'm gonna nurture your child as well as my child. So when my child leave out my presence, I know that they just got the same thing because that other child just got fed from me too.
Takes a tribe.
And it's a lot, man.
Takes a tribe.
It's a lot. These kids, I was when we looked at that video just a few minutes ago. What ran through my mind is maybe they ought to take the people who have been formerly incarcerated and start letting them have conversations with these kids.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to create something where, because we already know they're in lower impoverished communities, most of them. And if they're not, they're in suburban communities and they're just being misled,
Yeah.
wanting to be part of the culture. So now, how do you take the men or women who have come out of prison and let them sit and talk to them about their past? Even if they don't want to listen, they'll take some information in because information is always this is a computer.
That's a fact.
And as long as you put a program into the computer, because you're always programming, you sometimes you got to pull a chip out and put a new chip in or a new disk, and you have to reprogram what's there. And if nothing's there, you get to put the right program there because our program, we already know what being fucked up or fucking up looks like. I mean, I ain't want to say this while your daughter was on the phone. I mean, it was on here, but I had a ball when I was young, and hey, I wouldn't go back now and turn back none of it because of who I am today. But when I look back, do I see my attitude? Do I see the things that I done wrong? I see them, and I look at myself and I be like, yo, yes, what would I say to me then to say to them now? But would I change anything that I'd been through to be a different person? Nah. I'm who I'm supposed to be. But what I do want to do is give them the information that somebody should have gave me. And a few people did, but being that I know me and I understand emotional intelligence now, where I didn't then, how can we help them speed the process up where they ain't got to take the roads that we chose? And it's like, yo, Wow.
That's right. Show them the way, help them to listen. At this time, we're going to take another commercial break.
My name is Pages. I'm from Wisconsin. I don't care if you don't like Wisconsin. I cuts the cheese. Orange people? I don't like them at all. They get on my fucking nerves. They make my ass itch. Yo, men? Which one? All of them? We put them all in a category. I don't like none of them. All them niggas is just trifling. You gotta take care of them like you they fucking parent. Them niggas make my whole ass itch.
Anyways, if you guys look on the screen right here, I have some facts on the main causes of youth violence. And if you guys read through, you'll see risk factors within the individual and attention to deficit, hyperactivity, conduct disorder, or other behavioral disorders. Early involvement with alcohol, drugs, and tobacco, low intelligence and educational achievement. That's because they put us in low educational situations.
Yeah.
But yet, and still, these are the factors that come up from the sites, and I believe, yeah, I do have the sites underneath, and you see what they blame it on, right? Can I get some quick thoughts? Jinx, let me get your quick thought about these right quick.
I mean, a lot of it, you can't blame the kid for not wanting to be at school if the school failing them. You can't blame the kid for low intelligence if they're not being educated properly. If school is failing them and home is failing them, then crime and alcohol and drugs and tobacco is just a secondary thing. It's going to come regardless. But I mean, when you get down to the bottom of it and you look in there at prevention, again, it's all got to do with social and mental health issues. Learning how to, like Carlos said, the emotional awareness and intelligence, control, self esteem. I mean, self esteem is hard for especially teenagers when they going through them stages where they don't really know who they are. They figuring they self out. They're more worried about what's going on in their social circle. They don't know how to resolve conflict. They don't know how to find solutions to problems. They just know to feel and react. And if they're not being trained at home and at school how to handle those things, they're going to struggle.
They are.
You're
They
right.
are. They definitely are going to struggle. Queen, can I get your input on these right here?
What?
On these facts. So what are the main causes? These are the facts that I pulled up from online, and I would just like your quick analysis of these factors right here.
Everything Jinx just said is true.
That's true.
I
I agree
piggyback
with
off
Jinx.
her.
Okay. All right. That's cool. I think that these risk factors, I think that the government takes a roundabout approach of trying to capitalize on the situation. I think that they write these things and they guesstimate exactly what's going on, but they're the fault. They're the reason of why we're having these issues and these problems. Unemployment. We don't control unemployment. There's people trying to get jobs that have a hard time of getting jobs. I know plenty of people who just came from college and they struggle trying to get a job. You know, these are the factors that we face inside America. You know, low pay in jobs. You know, if you're not paying people enough to have quality of life, then what's the purpose of them trying to go get that job? You know, a lot of people aren't. They're not. I feel that they don't have enough spark inside them to go get it because they can get it easier some other way, and it still gives them something to live off, like you guys spoke of, food stamps and welfare. They're more willing to sit there and do nothing and accept that than actually get out and get something. And that's a problem. That's a problem inside society, and these factors, I think they fail us, and they fail people's awareness of what really needs to go on. Like the what skills you need to prevent violence. They're very vague. Emotional self awareness, emotional control, self esteem, positive social skills. Like seriously. I know people with great social skills, but yet still they're killers. They'll kill you. So it's like I know that these right here are thrown in a roundabout way. Do you guys disagree with me? Am I in disagreement?
In part,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Speak to me. Speak to me. Talk to me, brother.
So a person with great social skills might not have emotional intelligence.
True. You're right.
And while I do believe all of these will work, it takes a community for this shit to really work.
I agree with you
And
again.
while yes, I understand, don't get me wrong, I ain't saying it ain't the government's fault, but it's also ours. And I can keep blaming them. If a person push me off the damn off a chair right now, am I gonna stay the fuck on the ground or am I gonna get up?
It's true.
So there comes a point where yes, I understand root cause, but then I also understand we play a part now. We can continue to let the cycle perpetuate, or we can stand up and say, you know what am I, one person, willing to do that I can do, and how am I going to be the most impactful that I can be in my community? And hopefully, what it does is one person shows up, the next person shows up, and we all show up together because it says teamwork,
It makes
conflict
the dream work.
resolution,
Makes the dream work.
social
Yeah.
problem solving, positive social skills,
Yeah.
self esteem. All
I
of
want to
this
say
is
something to you, brother. I want to say something
go
to
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
Our people and people of culture have been on this in this society for years and years now. There
You
was a
about
place in time. There was a place in time when they had a Black Wall Street or a black society where they were flourishing, and those people were crushed. See, it takes it. I You said you can't blame the government and all that, but I'm
No,
gonna
I
take
said
this.
I do blame them. That is
Okay.
the root problem.
All
Remember what I
right.
said? That is the root problem.
But you said it comes a
N-
time that we have to blame ourselves, which is true. I agree with you. But
Yes.
after you've had a foot on you for so long, and people get used to a certain way, and they get used to living a certain life. I mean, how do they know how to rise and get up and go get something? See, these are the
One,
parts that you have to take into context.
this is the thing. It's enough of us, even now, that are thriving that can teach those that's not thriving how to
Will they
thrive.
listen?
Yeah.
You
It
can
takes,
teach it. You
let me,
can show a
hold
horse the
on, hold
water.
on.
You
Hear me
can't
out,
make
hear
it
me out,
drink.
hear me out. The way people take time and they start listening, you have to go and show them love. You can't point fingers at them and say they're down there at the bottom. You have to go down there and go
True.
into the neighborhoods. Be willing to pour some time and say, look, I love you. One thing I learned about teaching is this right here. People don't want to just hear this shit or just see it. I want to know that you really care. And when I come down there and I'm willing to pour to be in the trenches with you, not literally in the trenches, what happens is you start seeing that a rich person will come down there and be with you for a second, take you out of the community, and then give you something, and you'll open your ears and your eyes to what you're trying to teach me. But if all I'm gonna do is from a distance talk about you and tell you, oh, you doing wrong, hell no, I don't wanna hear that shit. You ain't down here with me. But if you come and sit with me sometime, what happens? I really start seeing that, hey, maybe this person might really care. This is the reason why when you remember watching that movie, Lean on Me?
Yeah, I remember that definitely.
You remember at first them kids and all this stuff, and this is based on a
Yeah,
true story.
there was. I
Man,
know
ain't
it
nobody trying to
was.
hit. Look, ain't nobody trying to hit that shit. You don't care. When I show I care, this is what the people say. You know what? I think I can be better because somebody else believe in me.
Okay.
It's it's up to us to really believe that we can make a change before change
That's
happens.
right. That's
And
you're
when you
absolutely
believe,
right.
and when you know you can make a change, change happens.
But with Cardi B and all those you're facing,
You
or we're
look, you going
facing,
look, you gonna have them.
it
Remember,
becomes a
you
difficult
you go
situation.
look, you're gonna have them. They're not gonna stop because they're actually look. I hate to use this word, but if you want to, they are cannibals. They know how to eat off those that don't know. That don't know. They're eating off themselves. However, what about the group that aren't Cardi B's and them? What about the powerful people that do have a voice and are a change? I believe in these people.
Charleston White told me the best. I heard an interview from Charleston White. He told me the best. He said when I was in politics and when I was speaking all that pro righteous shit, he was
He
like
should have
nobody
kept
wanted to
going.
hear me.
You may tell you what I see, and he didn't. I ain't gonna say fully he gave up, but he gave up on
Did
being
he?
the best version.
Did
Because
he?
also look at all the look of all I see is when I see him is a bunch of I see some good, but sometimes the negative outride all the shit. So what you see is a bunch of bullshit, and it's hard to look at the good shit he do
Why?
because he all the bullshit
Yeah.
overrides it.
See,
Hold on,
that's people once
hold on.
again. That's people once again.
So let me ask you a question. If a cup is dirty on the outside, but the inside clean, you gonna drink it?
Yeah, but you're talking about
I'm asking a
digesting
question.
something on my mouth though. That's a different
Hold on, no,
story.
no.
That's a
It just
different
hold.
story.
Remember, what treat this like your mouth because your mind is just as strong as your mouth.
First, if you understand the mind, you should know that people need garbage negative along with positive to balance it out. You
Garbage
need it.
in, garbage. Hold on. There's a saying. You're a tech guy.
You need
What
it,
it said?
dog. You
Garbage
need it.
in, garbage
You
out.
need it.
Hold on. So this is the thing. What you feed this thing here, if all you feed it is garbage,
Now I
guess
didn't
what you
say
gonna
all you feed it is garbage. I said
hold
none of that right there.
on.
What I
The
said
most of
is
it.
the
Hold on.
body needs good and bad. We're
Hold on.
negative and positive
That
creatures.
is this is true. But this is the thing. You got to learn how to feed your body. You got to learn how to feed your
That's
mind.
right.
And I would prefer you learn how to feed yourself good stuff opposed to bad stuff.
Okay, too much of anything is bad for you in this life.
And
I'm gonna
the
tell you.
majority and guess what? The majority of when we see my man, he got some grade A shit.
All right, I got you. Well, this was beautiful. I love it. I love the conversation. Tonight showed me a lot and told me a lot. Kiaje coming up here described a lot for me on the troubles, and it made me reflect on the troubles that we had when we were younger. It's been a long time since I had to reflect on the feelings of being in school, and when I did, I had to remember a lot of situations that, you know, like I said, it brought a lot of emotions up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, I'm thankful for to have that situation happen because it made me reflect on it and it made me remember exactly who I am and what's going on right now. Um, I don't know if it did for you guys, but it did that for me.
And
Um,
congratulations too.
what you congratulate me for?
For a person to have quit before high school and then to have accomplished the things that you have because you right now you have you're working on your second degree.
Yes,
This
yes, I
is
am.
something to congratulate a person for because a lot of people
Amen.
don't complete those feats and decide to raise their level of education after doing such. And I wanted to congratulate you because
Appreciate it.
we all need to know or be able to receive our flowers for the things and the accomplishments that we accomplish.
Appreciate it. I will say that people in prison and people who've been incarcerated and people who've had a troubled life And people who've dropped out of school does not mean they're ignorant, slow, or none of that. It does not mean any of that. It just means that I didn't take the time like you did to sit there through school and figure all that shit out. I found the streets to be more alluring for me at that time. But it wasn't like I was an idiot or stupid or slow or any of that. I was actually smart as hell. And then when I found out when I went back to get my GED how smart I was, because my test scores was above average. You see what I'm saying? So it was already in me. It was just the fact that I had to realize it was in me and realize I could do it. I just needed the push to do it. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, it was prison and sitting there day for day and rotting inside stew that made me realize, hold the fuck up, this is not what the fuck I'm getting ready to do for the rest of my life. So that's why you have this person right here in front of you right now. All right. Yeah, I would like to exit I'm gonna exit on something new.
My name Russell. You might remember me from the Pizzazz commercials. Yes, sir. You can't forget all this sexiness. But I'm gonna tell you right now how I feel about things. See, I'm from a little town called Fuck You. And when I say it's a little town called Fuck You, I mean fuck you. So I'm gonna tell you 1 times 2. That means 3 times. Show your ass. I don't give a damn about nothing. I'm from a little town called Fuck You. And basically that means fuck you. I mean, my name is Russell. And the way I answer the phone is, show your ride. If you want to come talk to me one day and you say some nonsense to me, I'm just going to look at you and say, show your ride.